Imperfect Gentleman Show.
I don't know. Guys just feel like it's okay to touch or grab your butt, you know? They just, I don't know why.
So you think it's changing for the better?
It's going to change for the better for sure.
I worry about our future. And the reason why I worry about our future is in pop culture right now. Maybe I'm looking at this through a hip hop lens, maybe because I listen to a lot of rap music, but the lyrics are all about F on your B. F on your B.
Yeah.
She giving me neck. I'm effing your B. That's like all I hear.
Yeah.
B.
That's actually a hit song. We should record that.
Yeah, right. And I feel like, you know, some of what we call American values or traditions, the positive ones, are kind of family values and stuff like that. And morals are all kind of going down the drain, in my opinion, in pop culture. And that worries me for the future, because if kids now are so fixated on sexually objectifying women,
not just women, each other, honestly.
And each other. And it makes me worry about, well, they're going to have kids one day. And when I was younger, right, like the music I was coming up on, Boyz II Men, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, more of this stuff was more about romance and love. And if you notice, all the R&B now has transcended into trap sex music.
That's not a fair argument at all. And I'll tell you why.
Let's see what you have to say.
No.
Teron.
It's not a fair argument, because you're saying that when you grew up, it was Celine Dion and Boyz II Men and who else? Who was the other group you mentioned?
Mariah Carey.
Let's not forget Jodeci, Uncle Luke, NWA,
but see, even those people, Jodeci, for example, even Two Live Crew, they did have something a little more romanticized than what we're hearing now.
Really? Two Live Crew had a song that said, "Out me so horny, out me so horny."
Okay, that's
out
to
me
me
so horny. Me love you long time.
Okay,
that was the actual chorus of the song.
Okay, that actually is a lot less explicit and objectifying than F your B, I F on your B, F your B. She giving me neck. F your B.
But it's the hip hop influence, you know?
It's
like
more hip hop now. Than
like hip hop, you know, was already like super terrible in the 90s, you know, talking about women and blah, blah, blah. And today, hip hop has such a big influence in our culture.
You hear it everywhere,
you know,
now.
like every pop, you know, singer wants to be like kind of cool now, and you know.
Sure. And here is another argument. We blame hip hop for a lot of things. And it's like, sure, I understand. It's not like Guns N' Roses and Poison and all these 80s bands were just walking around empowering women as they were sniffing lines of coke off their breasts and like kicking them in the face and getting accused of these predatory practices that everyone ignored because it was popular and they were rock stars. Like, we blame rappers for doing things that rock stars do all the time, except when they do it, it's flashy.
But their songs are not on the radio for millions of people to listen, you know, saying these things.
And it's not just hip hop, like pop culture. Like, I see kids like who are in high school, you know, like, and kids who are in elementary school. Yeah. And the mentality has shifted. Yeah. It's more of pop culture. And I worry for it a lot. I worry for the future a lot more. I do see what I like about what you said is there is at least more awareness. There is more movements. There are more movements. There are more marches. There are more incentives. Like, you know, the Women's March actually was the largest protest held in recent world history. So we're seeing these things that we didn't see before. People speaking up in the working place, which is why the Me Too hashtag is so critical, because it was taboo to speak about what happened on the workplace. It was almost embarrassing. And it is embarrassing if something like that happens to you. It's difficult to speak about it. But what I like now is people are feeling more empowered and more vocalized. So I think it's kind of a weird shift happening. On one end, in the structural approach, I see more progression. And then in terms of pop culture in the next generation, they're not, like you said, just not respect to women, lack of respect to each other. Like, when's the last time people like online are giving credit to each other instead of just like cursing them out? You know, it's just kind of crazy to me.
There's a big war right now, for sure. Every minorities and, you know, everyone is like in their little spots, in their little gangs, you know, no one is working together. We're just keeping like moving away from each other, you know, and it's really sad. It's sad, you know, you feel it when you walk in the street, you know.
Absolutely. Like the term catcalling, when did that term even, I didn't even know it existed till like 5 years ago. They made this YouTube video that went really viral. It was like the catcalling. And I didn't even know what that, I had never even heard that term being coined, you know, like to people on the streets.
Of that video was made last year. So
No, there's another one a few years back.
the concept that everything happens like it's new, it's not. This is not. Every generation looks like, oh my gosh, when I was growing up, everything was so wholesome and good, and this generation is the worst. You know, there was a time where people felt that about horse and buggies and women. Like, when I was young, I used to have to write letters and throw them in a bottle, and now you guys just horse buggy over there. Then that generation grew up and they were like, when I was young, I had a horse and buggy, and you guys just make phone calls. And then that generation grew up and was like, oh, now you guys just text each other. Every generation feels that. The past is dark. The past is beautiful. The future is bleak, and the now is going to hell.
But when you see certain things that are social indicators, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, it just kind of feels like I'm seeing more headlines nowadays. There's more instances of these cases, and I don't know if it's because there's a light being put on them now.
Yeah.
Like, boom, these are the
social media put it in your face,
exactly,
right in your face.
Yeah, and that's where social media is good, is in terms of awareness. Police brutality. Yeah,
for a week.
What's scary though is
for a week. Are we over Vegas?
We'll get into that.
We're over Vegas because I don't see last week. Everyone on my timeline was a gun control expert.
Yeah, for sure.
Expert. They were experts.
Yeah.
But at least like we have visibility. Like God knows we're seeing all these hashtags for these African American people, civilians who are killed by cops. Right? I just question. Now that we have video coverage of it, I just question what happened before there wasn't even video. So like we don't even know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
It was
We
maybe
do.
just someone
Like we've been like
saying,
nigga, we've been telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like